We've got an overnight train ride to Budapest, Hungary, where this week was a bit more challenging for the remaining 10 teams. Some of the choices by these teams leaves me scratching my head. Are they playing to their strengths? I mean, 5 teams chose to take connecting trains in order to reach the first task an hour earlier, whereas the remaining 5 teams took the direct train and were able to sleep. That was the smarter move, in my opinion, because nothing beats a good night's sleep to get you refreshed for the next day. Last week, Jazz and Jag, Natalie and Stephanie, and Joseph and Adam formed an alliance. Jag wasn't pleased that Izzy was not willing to work with them. Why he was surprised was a surprise to me. Izzy has been nursing a grudge against Jag since their stint on Big Brother. What I'm baffled about as to why an alliance is even necessary. This is the Amazing Race, not Big Brother. Your place in the race is solely dependent upon you and your teammate, no one else. Why? Because you can get as much help as possible, but if you're unable to complete the task, you will fall behind. For instance, in the pool with the bathing chess players, you and your partner had to find the players in the pool with the sought after king piece. Once the chess king piece is retrieved, they had to figure out where to present that piece or discover that the next clue was actually inside the king piece. Now, the next task is one of speed and skill. It was actually a detour. The instructions for a Rubik Cube were on a diagram on the table. However, the Rubik's Cube had to be solved within 7 minutes by both teammates simultaneously. If they were successful, it was one heck of a comp because the team was fast tracked to the final pit stop. Given the fact that there are 9 other teams and at least 3 other tasks to complete, I would have done just as Tucker and Eric did. Granted, it took them several attempts and it wasn't looking promising a few times, but they did it and took first place with a prize of an Expedia 5-day adventurous trip to Bolivia. Awesome! Especially after train hopping overnight with no sleep. Not having to exert yourself with 3 to 4 tasks was sweet. I've got to say, it was wild that Jag and Jazz couldn't get a taxi because of their headwear. Once they pulled their hoodies over their head, they were able to get a taxi. That is wild. The next task closed the gap between the teams as it proved challenging to coast a couple of horses around the course without knocking down the cones, and they had to do this within 45 seconds. If they knocked any of the cones down, they had to start all over. If they skipped a cone, they had to start all over. It demolished the lead Hannah and Simone had because Simone couldn't get through the course. They were the second to last team to complete that task, even though they arrived there fourth. Joseph and Adam lost momentum when they broke the key in the lock in Houdini's house. I mean, Kaylin and Taylor was trailing behind them, but then they did pass them. Now, the next task is where the team should have given serious consideration because it was a choice between juggling 5 rings for 10 seconds between them or learn a choreographed dance while balancing a bottle on one of the teammates' head. Personally, I would have went with the dance. I am a dancer, so that would have been easy peasy for me. But you had to consider both your skill at dancing as well as your partner and their memory to learn a choreographed dance. Mind you, it was a short dance, but still, you had to learn it. If they didn't, they had to go back and get trained again, and they continued that until they successfully did the dance with the bottle on their head. Now, juggling may seem simple, but it takes real skill. And even if one teammate is good at it, you still will be defeated if the other teammate can't juggle. And that was proven as it took Joseph and Adam, wait for it, 134. Yes, I said 134 attempts before they got it. Like what? I would have been so done. But props to them for not giving up. And that is the key in this race. Because even if you suck at a task and have to make multiple attempts, still 134 tries is wild. The other teammates may also be stuck on the task, lost, or can hail a taxi. So you keep it pressing and it may just pay off. Both Kat, not both, but Kat, Hannah, and Simone were dancers, so they expected to crush that task. Hannah and Simone, they did crush it. Kat, on the other hand, could not, and she crashed out for the second time in the race. She wasted more time crying than trying to actually learn the choreo, and it cost them dearly because they were the last to arrive at the pit stop. For the first time in weeks, Jag and Jazz were not in the top three. Can you believe it? Also, I wonder why Jazz was trying to mitigate an imaginary threat level. Again, this is a race, not Big Brother. In a race, what you want to do is keep as big of a lead between you and the other runners as possible throughout the race. Although they still do have a fast pass they can utilize, I would not scale back. I would keep that lead. Well, congrats to this week's top three teams. First place, Tucker and Eric. Second place, Natalie and Stephanie. And third place, Izzy and Paige. Well, until next week, it's Paprika out.